So I have my holy water to my right, my Bible in my lap, and now I am officially ready to get into Hellblade 2, which is a psychological trip for any action game fan out there. Now, of course, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is developed by Ninja Theory, now owned by Microsoft. And the main focus of the story is Senua, of course, the Celtic warrior, and Senua must rescue her kidnapped villagers from Viking. And the setting involves a lot of dark landscapes and psychological battles, not typical of action hero. So before I get any further into that, basically getting into the overall new implications of the game, they had a photo mode. So May 15th, I forget when this game came out, but May 15th, photo mode returned to Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. And basically here's a little snapshot at how it works. Once again, Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. So that being said, this is a little example video of how the photo mode works in the midst of the game. So as you're fighting, obviously looks super realistic. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is actual gameplay. I know you probably think that's a cutscene. The way they optimize this game, they make every cutscene. They make the gameplay look like a regular cutscene, right? So that's a very spectacular achievement because the graphical quality, I don't even know how they're gonna make a return on investment in this game, because from what I've heard, when you make games graphically enhanced like this, like, it's just super hard to get a return on investment, simply for the fact that now you're putting so much resource into a great graphical package that whenever you need you're gonna need even more return as far as financially to make it make sense, as far as why you put this much money into making her hair this detailed. You know what I mean? Like, look at her hair right now. Look at all the detail in her hair. So doing all that, people are probably thinking to themselves, we could have saved $500,000 to $600,000, maybe cutting back on the graphical budget. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's a little exaggeration, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, putting that much money into graphics maybe won't make the most sense if you don't sell well. And as we've seen with Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's no guarantee that any game is going to sell well in 2024. So that being said, let's actually look at sales and kind of get into how it sold overall. So basically, the developer came out and thanked fans, and also, oh goodness, I don't know if this game sold the greatest. Yeah, it's so funny. I didn't even say that to like bash it. I was just prefacing that because I know I've heard that from multiple game insiders that dang, yeah, so still yeah, that's not all right. So apparently Hellblade, because I'm looking this up in real time, but what is being said is that Hellblade 2 isn't doing big numbers, but it's not technically selling bad. So I don't know, I think they're trying to cope, and what I honestly think is that Hellblade 2 is a solid performer. But as far as it being a sequel, because the rule of thumb as far as marketing is, if something's originally a success quality-wise, the sequel is going to have even more financial value. That's usually what the sentiment is in a marketing standpoint, because now the sequel is coming with some sort of proven concept. So it's projected to sell even more. So since launch, they said an estimated 25,000 units on Steam, and Xbox only sees 70% of that. 874,000 revenue generated on PC so far, not even $1 million. PS5 Pro version will likely be fast tracked. So, okay. So this game's not selling well. That's okay, because I actually looked at the seller list as far as the best selling on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I didn't see it, but I still wanted to make sure it was because just because something isn't selling like top 5 or top 10 in the world doesn't mean it's not like in the top 20 or 30. So it doesn't mean that nobody's playing this game, of course, or else I wouldn't even be talking about it, honestly. But as far as what it projected to do, what it's currently doing, it said that the sequel is not really performing the best. So yeah, I'm not going to be a dead horse, but there you have it. It's not performing the best. So I would guess that we're not going to get maybe we'll get an ending to the trilogy, but I would guess not. Because looking at, let me see. Looking at Xbox, I don't see it nowhere to be found. It just came out like 2 months ago. So, and usually people play shooting and sports games, but sometimes you can see the new releases creeping in. So yeah, even Ghost. Okay, so let's look at PlayStation. PlayStation. Nope, it's not in PlayStation. All right, let's look at PC. Yeah, safe to say this game's not performing the greatest. So going back to my whole graphical standpoint, as far as putting all your emphasis on making the best graphical product, maybe you're spending unnecessary money that you could probably use in other areas. That's just where I'm believing. So anyways, let's get back into the overview of the game. So Senua is plagued by visions and inner voices and depression, and the game involves repetitive gameplay with moments of sword fighting and puzzle solving. There's no roleplay elements like development stages or new weapons. Combat is repetitive with a focus on sword fighting. Puzzles involve finding hidden runes or using magical elements to alter environments. And as far as the visuals and audio, the game excels in portraying Senua's psychological pain through detailed facial expressions. There's a lot of strong audio design with ambient noises and well voiced dialogue enhance immersion. That is one thing I kept hearing throughout the gaming industry, is that this game should easily win best graphical performing game. I don't know the actual category, but as far as the category for the best like graphics or whatever, it's gonna easily win that. Like, it's not even close. Like, the amount of, like, honestly, you really can't tell what's a cutscene and what's gameplay, and for most games you can easily tell. So for this game, it really does a great job on keeping you immersed into the entire game from start to finish. So they said it would easily win best graphically enhanced game. And then as far as the soundtrack, they said it's up there as well, because the sound effects is on point and the music is on point. So as far as the technological standpoint, this may be the best game released in 2024. If we're just solely focusing on the technical aspects of being a game developer, graphics, audio design, music, soundtrack, all on point. So yeah, with that being said, the reception, it's not for everybody, but it is a short game. It's around 6 hours and it costs $50. So personally, hearing 6 hours and $50 in the same sentence for video gaming, like, this ain't no movie. Talking about video games, that's just, personally, I can't do it. That's just, I can't even justify that type of purchase. So anyways, as far as reviews and ratings, it's generally favorable reviews for the game, talking about the storytelling, atmosphere, and visual design. Some of the criticisms is coming from repetitive combat and limited gameplay variety. Because of the graphical enhancement, the actual actions in the game is kind of limited, because you can't have too much going on because of the graphical visuals put on display. Like, if you're gonna have more, that's why if you ever see an online game, it could never look like, because it's just too much stuff going on for it to have this much attention to detail graphic. So because it's a single player graphically intensified game, I would excuse the limited gameplay. So anyways, getting into some of the bigger publications, we have IGN praising the action sequences, the psychological storytelling, but also criticizes the combat depth. PC Mag said it was a interactive art house movie with superb storytelling, but lacked complex combat. GameSpot said the visuals were great, sound design was fantastic, but finds the story and gameplay shallow. Metacritic gave it a score of 80. The user score for this game is 7.4. Polygon appreciates the mental health portrayal of the game, but notes repetitive combat. You're starting to hear a reoccurring theme. Eurogamer highlighted the atmospheric storytelling and emotional weight. Game Informer and Destructoid commend the emotional and immersive experience, but guess what? Limited gameplay variety. So with that being said, Hellblade 2 offers one of the most unique psychological depth storytelling that you've ever seen in a video game. But of course, to each his own, as you know, despite the criticisms, is highly regarded for its emotional and immersive. So with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Senua's Saga Hellblade 2? And if you haven't played it, but have played the original, or if you haven't played it in general, will you be willing to give this game a try?